morning and welcome to another episode of Dana Being Dana. I am your host, Dana Michelle, and we are live on Facebook and IntellectualRadio.com. Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year.
I am still on that kid-free life. Personally, it is day 7, and I'm out here doing my thing. I got 3 more days to go, and I need to make them count. So I will be out in these streets. It's been great seeing so many fans and people who have been on Dana Being Dana, and I appreciate all of you so much. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing the show, because we always want to spread the message and the good word about what we intellectual radio streets. Definitely. So thank you so much. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you had a safe, happy, and healthy New Year and the holidays. We made it through.
Yes, we made it.
We made it through, and like we said, we are still in the midst of cuffing season.
Oh,
in the heart of cuffing season. The heart of cuffing season.
Made it past the first.
And so we are in here talking about relationships. Last week we had a great show on kids to close out 2018, but now it's 2019, and folks are out here looking for a new love, baby, a new love. Yeah. So I have got a great group of people here, a fun group of people. These are my friends, and they have tons of insight when it comes to relationships, love, and dating. Everybody's experienced, right?
Yeah.
I got no novices up in here. So please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, something about you. And I'm just happy to have you guys here. Can I start with you, Reese?
Sure can. Well, my name is Reese. I am a Leo. And
I like long walks on the beach now.
So I'm a Leo. I like to keep it totally 100, even if it may be somewhat. The truth hurts sometimes, and I think a lot of people have a hard time accepting the truth, and they'd rather you just sugarcoat it. So a little bit more about me. I'm currently a realtor, and I'm looking forward to sharing on this show, and looking forward to participating and hearing what everyone else on the panel has to say.
Are you single, Reese?
I am.
Oh, snap.
I am. Single meaning not married.
Technically single.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Technicalities.
Jamie, how are you?
I'm good.
She came all the way from ATL.
ATL.
Yes, shout it. And I'm so proud of you and thankful for you being here. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Jamie Bennett. I am currently an entrepreneur of 3 businesses, and I am single, and I keep it 100 always.
Okay.
That's why she's here. I am so excited to have Jamie here. Jamie is my girl, and she has a ton of insight, and I can't wait to get into it. Derek.
Hey, how everybody doing? I'm Derek. They call me comedian Derek J. Here from Chicago. This is my radio voice, if you didn't know.
It's awesome. It's sexy.
It's fun.
We love it.
It's fun. But yeah, I'm anxious to get into everything and hear everybody's views on relationships and things like that, because I believe I got a totally different view.
Okay.
You bring it. And you've been on the show before. We appreciate your humor and all of you. We love you, funny man.
Well, yeah.
We love you, funny man.
I try to do what I do with what I got.
All right. Laura, how are you?
I am doing great. I am Laura Whitaker, originally from Indiana, live in Chicago, a little bit of law, a little bit of makeup, a little bit of consulting.
All right.
It's great to be here.
You coming to consult tonight, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
We got some advice for these people out here.
Some things to say.
Charles, how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Dana?
I'm good. Here. Look at that radio voice. Look at that radio voice.
I try to make it a little deeper. How y'all doing? My name is Charles Tweedle. I am an insurance agent. I actually have a couple podcasts I'm doing myself as well. So I'm taking notes from Dana today as well. She might not know it.
You've been in this game longer than me, but I appreciate you being here.
Of course, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to just, debate and talk about relationships with my people. I really enjoy doing this in real life. So this is a pleasure for me.
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, Charles.
Michelle, look, you want to take up a collection. Michelle, how are you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. This is day 1 for me, kid free.
Don't worry. The turn up is real. We got all weekend, girl.
Oh, yeah. So let's see. I'm from Chicago, real estate attorney, and went to Spelman. So this is my second show. I was on the Spell House show, Homecoming Challenge, and I'm a Libra.
Oh, all right. We got our signs out here. So let's just jump right into it. Again, you are watching Dana Being Dana on Intellectual Radio, and we are live also on Facebook. Please share the show because we are about to get into some stuff.
Mhm.
Here we go. Y'all ready?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Because I think there are a ton of people out here who are in situations and they feel that it may be too good to leave or too bad to stay. And so I think, a lot of times people are just existing. And one of the tenets of Dana being Dana is about being purposeful with your life, being intentional with your life. I'm not an advocate for breakups, but I'm just an advocate for loving with improvement, growing, being in a relationship that's happy, that relationships are work. And we're going to talk about work when we get to that. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you all about are, what are the 5 must-haves or 5 things that you think are important when it comes to relationships?
Honesty.
Understanding.
Making me laugh.
Communication.
Honesty, I'm repeating it, but not that, oh, you look fat in those jeans, honesty, but because I don't need that type of honesty. But
Lie to me.
But the honesty as in be truthful as far as our relationship is, like what our status is, where we're going, what we're about.
Where we're at.
Yeah.
Hello. Right? Like, because I think sometimes, and I don't know, a lot of times, I think sometimes people like to say what people think people want to hear.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of, and I'm not guys, that's why we got men and women here. Because
that's why we're here. We're talking about
because I think a lot of guys are out here, they love to drop I love you bombs and I want to get married bombs. But not everybody out here wants to get married again. Right? But sometimes people are just filling your head up with things that they think you want to hear. What are some of your other top 5?
I think my top 5 is definitely communication, because without communication, you really don't have anything. You're just two people missing each other during the day and bumping into each other at night. So
bumping into each other at night.
And loyalty.
Loyalty, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Ride or die.
That's huge.
I'm fighting, you fighting too.
That's huge.
What's really critical for me is you got to be able to step in my flow and not be a disruption. I'm busy.
An addition.
Bring something to the table.
Enhance this.
Yes.
Come on, somebody. Can we talk about consistency?
Yes.
Consistency is so real.
Very
People don't always end up how they start off. And that's really good to destroy a relationship. You got to be consistent.
Are you saying the representative shows up?
Oh, all the time.
Being consistent, I think, is huge.
I think consistency is good, but
it's not easy.
You can't have both, though. You can't have consistency and then want that to be consistent, but then at the same time, you want growth, because growth is change. And then that's being inconsistent, right?
Consistent in terms of,
right.
If you say you're going to be at XYZ place, you're at XYZ place. You're consistently doing things, but not like a complacent type of not growing, but consistent as in you're with your word, and that means something.
Well, I think as far as consistency goes, when you first start out, everybody gets used to that person that you first meet. But I think for myself personally, I've been in certain relationships and I get comfortable. Sometimes you with that person like 5 times a week. It's time for the fellas. 5 days. 5 days. 5 days.
Okay, you're living with that person.
But 5 days out the week. But now it's Saturday and you want to go out with the friends, and you normally spend your Saturdays with that particular significant other. But now that you want to go out with your friends, now the consistency changes, and now we have a situation because you're feeling slighted a little bit.
But I don't think that's what it's about.
No, go be with your friends, because I got plenty.
I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I think consistency is sometimes you have the bait and switch type of people.
Right.
The people who want to smother you, right? Initially. Phone calls, texts, blah, blah, blah. And then they disappear for 2 weeks.
After they get the draws.
Say it again, Charles.
GTD.
Yeah. The draws, the cookies. But people will be all in your face, and then they switch it up, and sometimes people just don't communicate. And it's that inconsistency that we ain't dealing with in 2019.
They don't communicate.
And want to show back up like nothing happened.
And keep it grown. Like, keep that same energy when you was trying to get up in my face. Like, keep it consistent in that way.
Well, I'm going to say this, is that you ladies and men and everybody understand that you as an individual, you have the power. So when you see that, stop accepting it.
Absolutely.
Let it go.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Y'all keep letting people come back. I've seen it. They be inconsistent, and then they give you some bogus reason of why they was inconsistent, and you believe in magic.
But whatever happened to communication of what we started off with?
Exactly.
Why isn't the other person not saying, "Hey, I noticed there's a change. Is everything okay?"
But what happens when women really do that and confront these men and say, "Hey, you used to call me every day. What happened?" They be like, "Oh,
you too
they get
emotional,
dumb and blunt." Right.
I don't know who you deal with.
All y'all.
I really don't know who you
peers.
deal with, but oh no, because like I go out, right, and like me and my significant other, my life partner, we go out together. There is no like really like me going out with the boys. It's like us going out because it's like us going out to view the world or enjoy the world. That's our ideology about our relationship. It's not like, well, I spend enough time with you have for now. I need to go out with the guys for a second. I mean, she can come with. I don't see why not.
But I think, you know what, we really need to embrace communication from the perspective of having difficult conversations, right?
Yep.
So if you're in a frame of mind that you don't want to be in a relationship and it turns into, I don't want to be in a relationship with you because you're not going to accept my mess and you're not an easy woman to be with, have that conversation with me. Don't just ghost and disappear. That is so disrespectful and so immature. Like, bring your grown man to the table.
And that's one of the things I had a quote that I put in here this week. And my disclaimer is that when I started posting some of the quotes that I had, and you guys were all tagged, people started calling me like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? Well, do you want to talk about it?"
Right. What's going on in your life?
Things are good, but sometimes you just got to dig into some raw places, and you got to talk about some tough topics in order to elicit some of the responses that we had. One of them that I had was, hurting someone's feelings is always more efficient than wasting someone's time.
Ooh, oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Because a lot of times, I have had friends where I'm like, well, why don't you just tell them, how you really felt?
Hurt their feelings.
I didn't say it again, Charles.
I just didn't want to hurt their feelings.
Exactly. I didn't want to hurt their feelings.
And that is
I didn't want to hurt their feelings
to me.
Exactly.
It's
Who are
like,
you?
Okay, so you're the whole world. And so
Exactly.
like, you saying no or you denying, that's just going to crush my whole world.
Delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
To think that by telling this person that I'm just not interested, they're just going to fall out and we're going to try to kill ourselves.
But you feel bad though. There was a guy I dated actually from a dating app earlier in November. We went out a couple times and he didn't look like his picture, but I was really trying to give it a chance.
You got dogfished.
I got hatfished. He'd be bald up under these hats. Hatfish. But like, that's not even the biggest thing. It's just that he had like no conversation. He couldn't keep it going. I felt like it was monotone. I couldn't do it. I did ghost.
So that brings up a great question. Is initial chemistry important?
It's everything.
Very important.
Oh yeah, I believe so.
Everything,
I
really.
mean, yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
So y'all aren't like a slow grind.
I believe in energy.
Slow grind. Excuse me.
I like slow grind. I love
Happy
a slow
New Year.
grind. Yeah.
But a slow build.
I
Like,
don't want you to have to grow on me like a wart. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
so no one thinks that, for example, because sometimes I think when you get too caught up in the rapture, Anita Baker, it's a lot of lust in the beginning, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
then
true.
you get to the point where maybe you don't have enough substance,
right.
right? So let's talk about the initial chemistry.
Oh yeah, it's
Because
huge.
I've had some relations, and then personally I've had some relationships where I thought initial chemistry was amazing, and then it for some reason or another, it just didn't work out.
That's why I'm so huge on initial chemistry mentally and emotionally, and not now at this point in my life, it's not so much the physical. It's all about, okay, can I have a conversation with you? How is the mental chemistry? Because the physical, that's something you can work on. Things can, that's fine. But mentally, I have to be able to talk to you. After the physical, we have to be able to have a conversation. So that initial mental connection is super, super important to me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I agree with that because as we all know, you don't really love a person until you make yourself vulnerable to that person. Like that person knows something or can say something like one of your secrets.
Right.
That can really hurt you.
Oh yeah, that's
But they never use it. They're never supposed to use it.
I hate when people do that.
But they got it. That's when you actually love a person. And like initial chemistry is good, but you got to realize that that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's not meant to like carry you through a 20-year relationship.
Right. But sometimes what it is because speaking from that existence, when it starts out really great, sometimes you just got to knock that edge off just to be able to bring yourself back to a regular mental standpoint where you're like, okay,
Right.
you're human. I thought you were a goddess,
Mhm.
and I'm human too, and you thought I was a god. So now that we're both human, let's be imperfect together
And have that
Perfectly
conversation.
How
Yeah.
do you knock that edge off, Reese? What are you talking about?
You just fight you.
sexually,
Sexually.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
intimacy,
All right.
or it doesn't even have to be penetration, but just maybe take a
Yeah, it ain't got to be
Listen,
penetration.
listen,
Yeah.
yeah, just take a shower together without touching each other. That's avoid
Intimacy.
temptation,
Yeah, I ain't
but it's
doing
still
that.
indulgent.
Neither.
I've
We
done
get in
it
the shower.
before.
It's going down.
I've done it before.
It's going down.
I've done it before. It was awesome.
No, you a good man. You done. He's done it before.
Wait,
I'm not gonna do
shout
it.
out to Reese's shower buddy. Thank you.
Shout out to
Thank you.
Clean Reese with the
Clean Reese. Clean Reese out here.
And then with the funk.
And they use Dove with their soft, non-touched skin.
Right.
Wow.
It's awkward. You just get out the shower and then.
So let's be vulnerable for a minute, shall we?
Of course.
Please keep your clothes on. What is something that people get wrong about you or mistake about you when it comes to dating?
That's a good question.
I think people don't realize that my feelings get hurt like anybody else's. Like I'm a badass. I own it, but I'm human too. And so you can't say anything you want out your mouth to me and think that we gonna recover. I've cut people off forever.
I'll go. Does anybody want to go?
I thought
I'll
we was
go.
going down. Okay, good.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, mine.
Yeah.
well, so a couple. And I've gotten some feedback on this. I think a lot of times people think I play a lot, right? I laugh and joke and kick it and whatever. And so I think people don't take me seriously or
Right.
understand that I actually am looking for, a meaningful, positive, serious relationship. So I think a lot of times people think it's all about jokes. And like you said, sometimes when you have a strong personality or strong exterior, they don't think you are sensitive.
Mhm.
And I'm in the back of the Ralph Tresvant video. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm very sensitive. And so I think that's one thing people mistake about me. I think also for me, I think people think I get a lot of attention. People ask me out all the time. And that's actually not true.
Mhm.
But that's going to change in 2019.
All right.
No. But so I think sometimes people get things mistaken. And I just want people
They get you
to,
messed up.
I want people to try, shoot your shot, do your thing.
Yeah.
What else do people get wrong about you, Clean Reese?
Clean.
Well, I know for sure. I'm very straightforward, and it's not to hurt feelings, but it's just because I've noticed being nice, being open, being receptive. Sometimes that brings about the wrong intentions and attention, and people they hear what they want to hear on their own. And I know men and women, we all operate on a different wavelength. I've seen it happen. And it's just ridiculous. Like I can say the same thing that she says, and we both take and have two different meanings from it.
Right.
But for me, I think people think that I'm mean, but it just comes from being nice to everybody and people taking advantage of you. So it's kind of like, you have to be mean.
Hey, we Leos, Reese. It happens, bro.
Say that again.
I say we Leos. It happens sometimes.
Oh yeah, it happens.
too?
I am
Yes,
a
it
Leo.
is.
Oh,
Yes,
Leos
he
are
is.
great.
fire sign. No wonder why it's hot up in here.
You're welcome for everyone for me being honest.
Yeah. So people take advantage of your kindness so much that you have to kind of cut it off at the pass. And I know that's not fair. I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine about cutting things off at the pass because I've had things cut off, at the pass with me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I wasn't even going there with it. Like, let me finish my sentence before you jump down my throat. So my thing is people. Yep, you just did.
Can I go? Oh, so
you go.
my thing is sometimes I think when I initially meet somebody and they don't necessarily know me, like my initial, I guess I come off to them as this nice guy, or
Totally.
So
Lies.
and that's good, and that's who I am. But I have a hole side as well. Like I'm not this total nice guy. Like I have the other side as well. I think that's a lot of times women in the past, like after a few months, they realize like, oh wow, he's not just this total nice guy. He has little a-hole in him as
Asshole
well.
tendencies.
Hey,
Right.
He's so
I'm real.
crazy.
But a lot of times the a-hole from their perspective comes when I'm a little too truthful.
Honest, right.
Okay.
And my honesty can come off as being an a-hole, but I mean, it is what it is. But that's kind of what they get wrong about.
I think people should be more honest.
Me too.
And I think
Oh,
I agree.
definitely.
you can operate better in honesty. Because one
Yep.
thing I see people doing all the time is they make their fantasy their reality.
Yes.
And I think one thing that people don't do well enough is pay attention to the other person's vibe. So hear me out on this. You see somebody that you like. Girl, he is fine. she looks good, right? You've set your sights on that person. You've decided that you like that person. Have you stopped to think about, that's the finest person you've seen in months. That is the finest person you've seen in months. Woo, it gets you hot. Have you stopped to think about whether you're the finest person that person has seen? So you never stop to, a lot of times people don't think about whether the vibe is shared. Yeah. They're only focused on their own agenda.
That's very true.
What if I'm not the finest person this person has seen, right? So my excitement about them may not be shared.
Reciprocated, yeah.
I may be the 9th finest person they've seen, right? Or they may be off the market or whatever.
That's huge.
I may just be coming out of a relationship, so I'm ready to hit these streets, right?
And they not.
You know, they may have been single for a long time, you know, so they're looking for something super serious or whatever. And so a lot of times people don't pay attention to how they register with somebody else in their on their dance card. Remember the old school dance cards? Where you fit on somebody's dance card and or where they're at in their life and what they're looking for. Any thoughts on that?
Put yourself in their shoes.
Well, yeah, what I wanted to say on that is that as far as like if I saw a person, you know, and she was like the finest thing, but I want to see how I registered with her. Maybe I don't register physically, right? But I'm going to approach her because apparently
tell some jokes.
My attributes is going to get me over, you know, because, you know, the looks is just one thing as far as the chemistry. But when you can get into a woman's mind and you got her mind, give a damn how fat you get or whatever, how you look, she's damn. Because I know y'all seen like this guy, you like, how did you get her?
Yeah.
How? Y'all don't even look right together. She look better with me. Or in the shower with him. I don't know.
You said a shower.
But you gotta understand, it's other people's attributes. So yes, as far as looking, that's one thing. But boy, once I get up there and let me just talk to you for a second. Let me talk to you.
Let me holler at you.
Let me holler at you.
It's got to be about that initial chemistry. When you vibe with somebody, it doesn't matter what they look like. That's you ever meet somebody at a party or at another event and you just talk to them and they're like the only other person in the room all night? That's what I'm talking about. It's not always about how somebody looks. That's great and that's a plus. But at this age, who gonna talk to me when I'm 60? Who am I gonna still want to hear their jokes? That's what I'm looking for.
That vibe and that chemistry.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think sometimes when it's right, I do think it's unmistakable and it's undeniable. I would agree.
Well, just to respond to that, when you are 60, it's going to be a lot of 80-year-olds checking you out.
Let's hope. You still got to have it, even if you don't go there.
That's what's up.
And then one thing, I just want to say one thing, ask everybody one thing. Have you ever gotten with somebody and y'all became great friends or you fell in love with them, but you hated them from the initial? Like y'all just didn't click initially. Y'all didn't click. It was bad karma. Or bad chemistry initially, but later something happened, or you allowed to get a person a chance, or y'all came up and then y'all got together. That has never happened to anybody?
No.
Just me?
I don't like you.
Okay, all right. It happened to me.
Absolutely not.
My girl hated me when she first saw me because I was too funny and blah, 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 and joking. She was like, no, ain't serious. And then after a while, a few months later, we saw each other again in other passing and just having casual conversation. She was like, oh, I didn't know you had a brain. Thought you was just a nut.
There's never been anybody that I've hated because I think that's real strong.
Hate is a strong word, but it was like he ain't getting none tonight.
Well, tonight, yeah. I mean, that's all the time. Yeah. But I would say that I think there's people that I slept on, meaning at first it wasn't. I've had some initial chemistry where it's been magnetic, like right away, like so magnetic. Like, is this really real? Is this
never works out for me?
Right.
But there have been also people where it's like, we've been friends for a long time. Like I have that energy where I have a lot of friends, you know, people that I meet, networking, blah, blah, blah. And it's a sleeper where I didn't even realize, you know, can I help you?
Right.
Right. And so once I saw them in a different light, in a different realm, then it's like, wow, you know, there's a whole lot here. There's a lot of potential, blah, 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 blah. So if you have potential, share the show.
Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. It's 2019. I think everybody needs, because the thing about when it comes to rejection, I think a lot of times do you think we overthink rejection?
Yes.
Yep.
When you're on the receiving end of the rejection, yes. Definitely.
The receiving end?
Yes. The receiving end of the rejection. Yes.
Well, that comes through
overthink it?
Well, yeah, because if you love yourself enough, you gonna understand that that's part of life, and it's not you.
Right.
It's
They
worse
missing
when it's a
out.
woman,
You ain't
though.
missing out on nothing.
Say that again.
When you love yourself enough,
Yeah.
you gotta love yourself. Because a lot of people in relationships to get love from other people, but they don't love themselves enough, so they really can't get back into the relationship. So they just constantly taking and taking and taking. Then they wonder why it don't work out later. Then all of a sudden it's my problem. It ain't my problem. I need to love you. No,
I want to piggyback off that.
I was having a moment.
We're gonna go to commercial, and we don't have any commercials.
We'll be
We ain't even got none. Go ahead, Charles.
No, I just wanted to piggyback over that. That's something I wanted to just add to the podcast really quickly. So, about knowledge of self. That's something I wanted to. So now at my age, I'm 32. Like I said, it's about the mental connection, not as much the physical. When I say mental connection, it's about having knowledge of self. Like I'm not all the way there, but I feel like I have a general knowledge of myself, who I am, what I want out of life, and I want a woman to have the same thing. And if she doesn't, it's going to be evident to me, and we're not going to click. You know, like I feel like people have to first of all love themselves and know what they want out of life for a relationship to work. You know, you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. That's my opinion.
Y'all are so evolved because I want that physical. I want my body to know
I want
you're
the
in the
physical
room
too.
before my eyes ever see you. I want the mental connection, but I'm not at almost 47 prepared to downplay the physical. Like it's about to be on and popping. I'm at my peak.
Hello.
So great.
I mean,
but I'm not there.
If I can never see myself sleeping with you, it's never gonna happen.
Right.
Well,
and that's not
I'm not.
that's not all of it, but that is a part
It's a
of
part of
it.
it.
Like
It's a
I just
part.
went
I'm
on a
not saying
date
it's not a part.
last year with a guy. Y'all, he couldn't
Nothing, huh?
nothing. And
Nothing.
He was so eager and he was nice. He was so nice, which is why I went. But like
Nice
talking
guys
to
be
him,
grateful though.
I was like, yeah, but I was like, dude, this ain't never gonna happen. Like it just ain't. He wanted to take me on trips. I was like, I ain't trying to be a rider all my life. Like you are a big dude. It's just not gonna happen for me. But he was nice. So I'm just saying that the physical is important to me and I'm not compromising on it.
And I think that's why I think, and for some people, I'm getting some signals that the live video has been interrupted. Just please stick with us. We are continuing on. It does come back. So I'm seeing that it comes back. So apologies if you are on Facebook and you are seeing that the live video is being paused or interrupted. Anyway, one thing I will say when it comes to rejection, at the end of the day, and it goes back to what I said before, you don't want somebody to waste your time.
Right.
So I'd rather know,
Right.
you know, as much as it hurts and as painful as it can be, I'd rather you not waste my time because none of us are getting any younger.
That's right.
And everybody knows somebody who has passed recently.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
life is short.
It is.
Life is way too short. So my whole thing is I don't want anybody wasting my time.
Right.
So if it's not working, you know, then I'd rather have that. I'd rather know. I'd very much rather know.
Yep.
The next question I have for you guys is this goes back to things versus men versus women, things like that. Because a lot of times you hear about women who are out there or have issues. People bring it back to the daddy. Do they have daddy issues? And I would argue, because I've taken a survey, I've looked at some of this stuff. I think men have daddy issues as well. And what that can mean is that a lot of times it's evident when men have grown up in a woman-only household and they haven't had strong role models of not what a father is.
Hey.
This ain't the Father's Day show, but what a husband should be doing. And I think that can show up in relationships. What do you think about that? Does everybody have daddy issues?
I'll say for me, I'm an only child. And I married an only child. And we were both raised by our mothers. And I think what you just said is you can be, in some cases, when you add children, you can be a good spouse and you can be a good parent. But then sometimes people have problems being both a good spouse and a good parent. So that being a good spouse and a good parent.
Yep.
So, you know, that can be a problem as well.
I have a question. And this one's like a dumb question, right? But what are the husband's responsibilities or things about? I mean, what's the husband supposed to do? I'm just asking.
I think the
like
answer is for everybody.
Right. I mean, tell me what box you putting this man in.
Oh.
I'm trying to follow.
Right. Because the question was, as far as a person being a good husband, I mean, what constitutes that? What is he supposed to do?
So maybe name some
to be?
characteristics.
It may sound like a dumb question, but what constitutes for him to do that?
Love, protect, provide, be faithful, loyal.
For me, it really is
That was easy.
having a conversation about us and whether we fall traditionally and what a husband's supposed to be or not. If we're going to rework the box, meaning if I'm better at money than you are, then I pay the bills and I control the money. Or if you're a better cook than I am, then you feed the family. Like being strong enough to break that tradition. Like I'm rebelling. I've been rebelling since I turned 40.
That's what I wanted to hear.
So I just want him to be an equal partner where his strengths lie.
And I do believe in playing to
That I get it.
strengths because
That I get
I think that that's important in a relationship. If you're a terrible cook, I don't think you should necessarily be the one to do it just because you're a female.
Yeah.
But I want to move the conversation. And I want to talk about some of the statements that we've had in some of the marketing materials this week. And I want to hear you all react to them because I've asked them purposely not to respond on social media because we were going to save some of our commentary for the show. So the first one I have is be intentional.
Yep.
Any response or thoughts on that, Charles?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm all about, definitely. And I've seen that, looking back on my younger years, I wasn't intentional as I should have been, but now that's what I'm all about. Like, so now, I've been quote unquote single for a long time, had situationships, but I've been single for about 4 or 5 years now. And now I'm all about being intentional. I'm all about, getting with someone saying, hey, this is what I want out of us. This is what I want from you. This is where I see us in the next month, year, 2 years, 5 years. This is being very intentional and letting her know what our path is and what I want from us. So that's what I look at being intentional. And
anybody else?
Yeah.
I can speak on that. From my experience, being intentional sometimes, I guess the best way to put it is things change. So you may find someone, and just like we were talking about earlier about that first initial spark that you have with someone for the first 30, 60, 90 days or whatever the case may be. And you lay out everything that you're looking for, right? But for whatever reason, something may have changed and you may not have that same feeling for that person and what you stated that you wanted. Let's say you wanted to get married in a short amount of time, 6 months, a year. I think that's crazy, to be honest with you. I need a little bit more time than that. But some people do. And if they're saying, yeah, I want to get married, I want to have children. But when you start finding out certain things, certain qualities about this person, you see this person, they don't have children and they're treating their nephews, nieces, or relatives bad that are young in age, you kind of like, wait a minute, hold on. I remember, I'm gonna go into the story real quick. I was dating someone and we had lost touch, and then we got back in touch, and she had a 1-year-old, and they came over to my house and they were visiting. And at first, this person, she had everything in all the departments, looks, everything. I mean, except financial, that wasn't important. That was my job. I wasn't looking at her for financial reasons. But when she spanked her kid after urinating 3 times, 1 year old, spanked her child for urinating
She's a horrible
3
person.
times, messed up 3 Pampers, and then wet my couch. I didn't care about the couch at that point.
That's a good bladder, man. That's
Right.
a good bladder.
But to whoop after that, all of that, this is what I want to go here. That's out the window. My whole motive has changed because I do not think that you would make a great mother for my child. So things change.
Exactly.
So even though you start off with saying that what your intentions are, things change within that. And then they want to throw it back in your face when you start telling them, well, I don't think this is going to work out, but you said you wanted to be married. I think you were just playing with me. And that's where that communication, kind of misses each person.
Well, when that happened, I'm just curious, did you tell her, things have changed because I witnessed how you interacted with your child, and I don't think you would make a good mother for my child.
Right.
She's asking about your honesty and communication.
Yeah, but
Okay, actually, I did not.
Right.
That's a
He just
hard
left. He got ghost on it real quick.
I did call one of my close friends that knew about it, and I was like, man, I don't know whether to call DCFS or what.
Right.
But and I think it's about communication because I think sometimes we need people to give us the exit interview or to tell us, that's one way in which we can grow. And I think that that's so important.
Okay.
Another one, sometimes the person you want doesn't deserve you. Hello.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I dated someone recently who it came up in conversation when we were FaceTiming that he doesn't really do church. When I mentioned that I go to church and that I'm a Christian,
You do church.
Like, well, I do.
No, it's
I
do you do
I do church.
All right.
do you
Yeah.
do church?
I mean, I'm a
We ain't
Christian,
getting
but
together
he's like, I really just don't believe in that, and I challenge people in their religion all the time. I'm like, oh, it let me know right there that we could never really be together long term.
Yeah.
But I still want to have fun with him.
Have fun. Have fun.
But he's
Yeah,
fun only.
he wears a size 12.
Fun.
She wants to have, and she goes to church,
I do.
but she wants to have fun with him.
Christian girls.
Christian girls are the best.
We'll come back to some of the quotes. But I want to talk about, because we talked about relationships being work. One of the things I wanted to ask is, are you willing to put in the work? And do you think people in general these days are willing to put in the work?
I am
Depends on
not.
if it's work.
Jamie and I are on the same page. We're not trying to do that. We're in our 40s, and
You're not trying to do what?
Yeah,
Put in work.
Yeah.
At all.
For a
Work,
relationship.
work.
Wait, time. What does she want
So
then?
this is the thing.
But you want work put into it?
I want to be loyal. I want to be honest, but I don't necessarily know I want to be married again. Like, God is really going to have to be like, fam, that's you. I made that for you. Or else I ain't doing it no more. But that doesn't mean that I don't want you to be committed to me. And if we're not committed, tell me so I can match your energy. So I can have a roster too.
And a roster, a team.
Energy.
It's important.
And
And
you
what I
want to be the MVP, you got to put in the work to be
So
the
you've been
MVP.
married before?
Yes.
How many other people have been married before on the show?
Well, not traditionally married,
Right again.
but, right? Not traditionally married, but
Never
yeah,
been
I'm married. I have a life partner. I'm married.
Why
Yeah.
aren't you?
Do you want to get married?
Not traditional marriage, no. I
And
don't,
why not?
I don't like it. Well,
Have you been married before?
No,
Like, why are
no.
you putting
I've
the
seen
title
it. I've seen
traditional
it. I've
marriage
seen
on
it.
it?
I've seen it. A lot of
doesn't
people
believe in that.
want to be married just for the sake of saying that they married.
I
Just,
do think that that's
just
true.
for that, just to say like that's supposed to be like some big thing type thing. But who is the big thing for? If it's between me and you, and we make the rules, this is what it's going to be.
If
And-
you died tomorrow,
But
she
see,
would
you're
get
talking-
none
you
of
got
your
a bunch of
benefits.
lawyers
Okay,
in
see
the
now
room.
you're talking
No,
about money and benefits.
Seriously.
No, but
that's,
it's-
that's
understand.
all about
real,
that, but that's
though.
a
Listen,
component.
That's real.
If you're in the
At
hospital, hold on, wait a minute. If you're in the
Listen,
hospital,
listen,
stop
it-
saying listen. If you're in the hospital,
Yeah.
you know, she cannot come in there because she's not related to you. And that's sometimes what it comes down to.
I
You
understand
know,
what he's saying.
thinking about it from a legal perspective.
Well,
The point is that I
For
think
lawyers.
people can make, I think under the confines or a license of marriage, people can make their own rules and do whatever they want to do in their household, right? If you like jungle sex, then that can just be your thing, right? If you like showering and not touching, then that can be your thing. You know, you can make whatever it is you want to make out of it.
I want to say
A
one thing.
response to that,
I want
sure.
to say yes. Power of attorney and living will takes care of all of that.
Yep.
All
That's
of that.
true.
And then you're not financially responsible to the government for other stuff that, yeah, quit playing with me.
I understand what you're saying.
I mean, you can get
I
tax
it.
breaks too. There's some benefits. to being
Tax
married.
breaks. Girl, we got enough
They've
of
been-
that. Better have some more babies.
But let's talk about let's talk about healing, because I think there's a lot of broken people out here in
Oh,
these
man,
streets
too many.
trying to date like whole human beings.
Man.
Yes.
Oh, well.
Anybody want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to what we were talking about, knowing self. When I got
Yes.
divorced in
Preach.
08, I didn't date. I didn't do anything for 5 years because I was broken. And I didn't want to hurt somebody else while I should have been healing. And so you got to take yourself out the mix if you're any
Right.
type of human being.
Yep.
But now we know that, you know, it's all kind of broken people walking around
Too many.
acting like they're ready for you when they're not.
And
Glass.
I think that goes back to, in my opinion, is being selfish. Like in my opinion, like I'm not a selfish person, and I've experienced people who were broken, and like I've been ready to commit, and they kind of put on a front as if they were, but deep down inside they were broken. And I was like, in my opinion, it's just a selfish thing. Like you need time to heal and time to be alone, but people don't want to be alone. So a lot of times, therefore they just kind of put up this front like everything's okay when it's not.
I think everybody brings a certain level of brokenness, though, to the table. Nobody's going to be perfect, complete, whole, secure in every way. And people that are imperfect can still get together and find good in each other and build a life together. So I don't think you have to come to the table as a perfectly unbroken person, but I do think you need to be whole.
And you got to be honest about it.
That's
though.
right.
Yes.
Well, tell people
And I think you got to be able and willing to put in the work. I think
I'm
a lot of times I have encountered people who are broken, who number one, don't admit it.
Or don't know.
Who don't know.
Oh,
And number two, upon knowledge, don't want to do anything about it. Because I'm all about showing me progress, showing me change.
Yep.
I can't stick with you in your brokenness
Right.
or your brokenness if you're not willing to put in the work to bring about your change, to bring about your growth.
That's
I'm
what
telling you, you want to lose that weight. I'm telling you, stop eating those Big Macs, right?
Yeah.
And you chasing it, you want to talk about, but I drink a Diet Coke. But you also eating that Big Mac. Stop supersizing. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what I want to impress upon people sometimes when it comes to putting in the work. It's not just about the relationship.
Right.
It's also about yourself.
And can we say that therapy is okay?
I was just about to say that we all need therapy. Yes.
Work on yourself.
Yes, we all need therapy. And we should get it free from the government instead of 40 acres on a mule because, it is what it is.
Reparations is a whole other subject.
I'm telling you.
It's okay.
I'm telling you.
It's okay.
But I agree.
I want to talk about forgiveness because because you mentioned selfishness, which made me think about it. One thing about forgiveness, do you think people are too forgiving in relationships and letting too much stuff slide? Or do you think people should be less forgiving or more, are people too forgiving and letting things slide, or should they be more forgiving and saving more relationships?
I'm going to set this one out. This is an area of opportunity for me.
Totally.
We're going to commercial.
Right. Now, what I will say is that
She recuses herself.
the way you posed the question was more so forgiving of others. And I think a lot of times we have to forgive ourselves.
Right.
Forgive ourselves for mistakes that we've made in the past and that we may make again. But sometimes we beat ourselves up too much. And then, and then we're even less forgiving of others. And so I just think, understanding about yourself, forgiving yourself for mistakes, not beating yourself up, and then being willing to be open to new relationships, to new things going on. But the forgiving part, I'm kind of like, it depends on what it is as far as like the forgiveness. Because you may forgive, but then there's the petty memory, and it's like, okay,
the petty memory.
Yeah, the petty memory. Like, okay,
No, that's
I see you.
That's interesting. I've been in a situation where I had to forgive way more than I would even like to share. And the thing about it is, after the situation ended, it was her that decided that we needed space, and she wasn't really honest, which is one of our key words that we've used. She wasn't honest about space. I thought space was, hey, take 2 weeks off. We'll reconvene later.
Right.
But space in her mind was, hey, I'm about to go, see what's going on over here. And, I'm not really letting you know that you and I are completely done. Mm-hmm. So what happened was I had forgiven so much with her that I lost myself in forgiving so much. So this is very heartfelt for me. Because I actually went to counseling, and the thing about it was the counselor, when I told her everything, my counselor was a lady, but when I told her everything that I've experienced, she grabbed a tissue and started crying herself. The tissue was for me, I thought,
Wow.
So, I'm sitting here like, and the thing about it is that she was so into my stories and things that I was telling her that afterwards, I would tell her the solution after hearing myself talk. And she's like, wow, do you even really need me?
You just talk through it.
And
yourself.
Did you get your money back? Did you get it?
Right. It was actually free.
Yeah.
It was actually free. It was free counseling. But the thing about it was, forgiving, that's always been my downfall, is because I look at what's more important to me. And usually some of that stuff is really petty. But you had a point there when you said that you can forgive, but the problem is forgetting. And that's one of my issues. I won't forget because the thing about it is, if you try and do anything remotely close to that again, That's pretty much that's it. That's
Own
it.
it.
Can I
popping.
just say, forgiving don't mean that I gotta fool with you. I can forgive you and release
keep it
you
moving.
and never talk to you again.
And sometimes what I've noticed when it comes to forgiveness, people want to be forgiven, but they're not willing to put in the work to regain your trust.
Yeah.
Right.
Regain, where they were with you. So it's like, just, I'm sorry. Like, can you forgive me? Like,
Let me get a reset.
let me get a reset. Versus like, I'm sorry. And I'm willing to put in the time and effort and energy to demonstrate that I'm sorry. I'm not saying you have to grovel. I'm not saying you have to eat.
Wait.
No, you got to eat.
Yeah.
That's where forgiveness starts.
Y'all gotta
Eating.
Yeah.
I do love checkers. But I think that sometimes, forgiveness is about, I think sometimes people want to fast forward or microwave mentality, the forgiveness. I'm sorry. Like, don't hold it over my head and I'm not saying you have to hold a grudge, but I do think there's a period between particularly if you do something real bad, right? You've asked for forgiveness. This person said they will forgive you or have forgiven you, but you just don't jump back into normal, like what it used to be.
No.
If you are a liar, you need to demonstrate through consistency that you are not a liar, right?
Yeah, and don't come to me with no generic ass apology. I am sorry for X. I wasn't thinking. I didn't mean to hurt you. I won't do it again. Then maybe we can be good.
And
Don't
you
just
show
be-
some of that and
Right.
demonstrate some of that
Just don't
consistency.
be coming talking about generically. I'm sorry. I know you're sorry.
Comes from the heart.
It's
gotta
Reaches
be
the heart.
accountability.
And the
Right.
issue is,
Say that again, Laura.
It's got to be accountability.
Yeah.
If you're
yeah,
apologizing for something, it's got to be specific. And it's also got to be those actions, like you said, what you're going to do to make up for it. Make sure it won't happen again. Show that growth. Show that spiritual, mental, and physical growth beyond the situation.
If
you can't do it,
Go ahead.
the thing about it is, though, the issue is when you do forgive someone,
Mhm.
they expect, as Dana was saying, they expect everything, the whole slate to be clean.
Nah.
Like, oh, wait a minute, you're getting out of pocket right now because you still should be walking around humble and ashamed and everything for quite some time.
Right.
Let me feel that.
Yeah.
Don't think that, oh, okay, well, I'm glad you forgive me. I'm about to go out with my girls.
Right.
What?
Right.
No, you better cancel everything right now and make sure that I truly forgive you
Mhm.
for at least a month.
Right.
I think real quick, I think that goes back to kind of what I was saying about just knowledge of self too. That a lot of people don't want to look inside of themselves and say, okay, I did this to this person, so what do I need to fix about myself? Like it all goes back to having knowledge of self and be like, okay, what is truly wrong with me? What do I need to fix? What do I need to improve on to be a better person? A lot of people just don't want to have the patience to do that. It's unfortunate.
The wise philosopher Cardi B
Oh God, here we go. Bloody shoes.
once said, karma for you is going to be who you end up with.
Yep.
Hello. To all my exes out there, hello. Happy New Year. No, I'm just joking. Except for some of you.
Oh wow.
Is there someone from your past that you would be willing to date again?
Oh, nobody recycles.
Absolutely
I
not.
always recycle.
Everybody.
You always recycle.
It doesn't work out well for me.
Team
Again,
green.
growth. We got things we working on. That's one of my things.
Laura, Derek.
I can.
Oh no, I don't recycle. I haven't recycled. It's like if we break up, then it was a reason why we broke up. Like break up. Not like, I just need some time. Like it's over. Like those words were said. Then it's over.
Life is not a baseball game. There's not multiple chances.
Right, 9 innings.
Ooh, baseball games, recycling. We're so environmental and American.
Well, in my opinion, I feel like I've had a lot of great exes. Like I'm in contact with, I'd say about 90% of them. And I feel like-
Look at Charles laying the pipe,
well,
laying it down for the 1-9.
I've had a lot. I've had some good exes, so I feel like I'm not ruling out possibly getting back with some of them. Like I'm just saying, there are a lot of great women. They're great women. That's all I'm saying.
Charles, you want to leave your phone number on this show? You want to drop you want to sponsor the show? Leave your phone number, 773.
We didn't end on like terrible terms.
Right.
Maybe like one. But other than that, we didn't like end on. I didn't like cheat on them. It was like a terrible breakup. Like a lot of them was just like some kind of petty stuff, misunderstandings, things of that nature. So that's just me though. That's me and my situation.
Right. I'm friends
agree,
with him. Like
definitely.
Charles said, I'm friends with him, but we're not gonna get back into a relationship.
Nah.
Michelle.
I could get back into a relationship.
Oh, okay. This is the 1-9. Shoot your shot, people.
Michelle got
Shoot
hope.
your shot.
I've done it before, and I have a hard time not doing it when they start acting right. It's just, when they stop acting right, and they remind me of why we broke up. Then I'm like, I feel a little bit idiotic sometimes.
My ex is blowing up. Like I feel like when we break up, like I feel like I kind of improve people, and my exes improve me too. But like my exes like glow up, and it's like I look at them like, oh wow, you improved that thing about you that I had an issue.
Yeah, then it's like, oh my goodness.
And that's why I don't do no do-over, because
amazing.
I'm in the midst of my glow up. I'm good.
Right. I saw the best
We are,
meme.
we are
It said,
growing up.
if you sometimes God sends you an ex just to see if you're still stupid. I need to listen to that.
Yep.
That is hilarious. So we've got some moms in the room. I'm a mom. I'm divorced, single mom.
I'm a mom.
Derek's a mom.
You a mom?
I think this, and men can answer this too. The question is, do men prey on single moms? Because I know, or people who are divorced. So when I was fresh out of my divorce or going through my divorce process, folks showed up like Shy. I will comfort. Do you feel like people prey on people who are freshly out of relationships, particularly single mothers, out here in these streets?
I don't think so, because how can you look at a woman and know?
I'm not saying you know, but I'm saying when it comes out, sometimes people are like, hello. Can I help you?
It's more enticing.
Can I help you? Well, yeah, because they in other words, the idea of something being temporary, when someone's like, I'm fresh out of a relationship.
Right. Oh, well, yeah, that's easy.
And I'll say that I don't necessarily know that I was preyed upon, but that some of those people, like in my prime, you couldn't have even
touched you, huh?
Yeah, you know.
Say
so
that.
it's like
Say it.
so you got, you got like a scaled down version and one that was like more accepting of like little faults or whatever, because it's like, oh, there's some esteem issues coming out of a divorce as far as like what you are entitled to or what you should accept. And so, there can be, I do look back and think there's some people that, otherwise, had I not been in a more vulnerable state, nothing.
I think single mothers probably got a different characteristic. It's not that they're being preyed upon, but maybe they give out a different energy when people see them, because they really want, that whole dynamic, because the other person, I guess, man, woman, whatever it is, it's a new world, didn't work. And then, so I think that may be it, that they're more magnetic, because, they really want, look, heavy racist.
But that's not me though. Because the one out here, I don't want to get married again, because I don't want another. Well, I joke that I wouldn't get married until I'm dropping my son off at Morehouse and
Morehouse. Yes.
2028, I think. So, and then I'll meet my husband on the way out the parking lot. But anyway, but I say that because he has a good father. They have a good relationship. And I don't want another man saying what, having any type of influence or I don't even want it to be a discussion as to discipline, where they're going to school or whatever. So, I mean, that's just not something that that would be too much work for me. And I don't want to put in that work.
What type of cereal your son eat? I'm just asking.
But you know what's funny though? I like Fruit Loops and Frosted Flakes. He'll always pick some other type of cereal, but then he wants my cereal.
Okay. The thing about it is I've recently, I was about to say this year, but I keep forgetting we're into 2019.
It's a new year, man.
Yes. But I used to didn't mind a woman being recently divorced and having children, but now I've started to see that the women right out of the divorce, because I used to think like, okay, well, they may be looking to have a little fun and see where things go and you can grow together, right? No, they come right out of divorce court. As soon as the ink barely dries on the paper, like, yeah, you looking to get married? Are you looking to get married? Anybody looking to get married? I want to get back into it. And I'm like, I've never been married. I'm just not going to throw my first chance away on somebody that already threw their first husband away,
Wow.
And I mean, I know that's kind of a harsh way to look at it. Huh?
Maybe he had to go.
Well, I mean, you never know the situation, but there's always two sides, and guess what? You only getting one of them.
Yeah.
Love yourself. We'll say again. Love yourself, people. Love yourself.
So I want you to, one of the final questions as we wrap up, thinking of the opposite sex, what are they getting wrong out here in these streets? You're giving advice. Ladies, you're giving advice to the men out here. What are they getting wrong? Men, you're giving advice to the women. What can they do better at? What are they getting wrong out here in these streets?
Be honest about what you want. If you don't want to be in a committed relationship, maybe I can match your energy. Be honest about what it is and what it is not. The same way you have honor and honesty in your male friendships, bring that same energy to females. And don't take my decision away from me. Let me decide if I want to be bothered with your shit.
That's right.
That's it.
Man.
I do like matching the energy because I think that can really add a lot to a relationship. And I think a lot of times people will be surprised. If you shoot your shot as to where you're at, you'd be surprised at how many people will match you. It's like getting a mentor. When you ask people to be a mentor and you're like, oh my God, they said yes.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Shoot your shot because somebody may match your energy.
Yeah.
What are they doing wrong?
I'll go.
Help out all your exes.
Shout out all my exes, amazing women.
Amazing.
My advice to the opposite sex is stop penalizing the new guy for what the old guy did.
Say that again. Say that again, Charles.
Stop penalizing the new guy for what the old guy or guys have done to you. My thing is, I can't count on how many times that I've started in the negative with a new woman just because she's had bad experiences. Well, the old guy was blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, this is the first date. What are you talking about? Can I start with a clean slate, please? So that's my advice. Just try
reset.
Again, come to a situation with a clean slate about the person in the world and the view of the world.
I think you have to be open-minded. A lot of people think they have a set type, a set kind of person. They have their whole life built up in their mind. A lot of guys feel like they have to have a certain level of career success, money before they can go ahead and settle down. A lot of people are willing to work with you, build with you. You guys can kind of build a life together. You guys can meld and mesh, fill in where someone's weak. They can do the same for you. A lot of people come to the table saying, okay, when I attain this level of success, then I can finally go out and get what I want. Or women, they think, okay, if I lose all the weight I want to lose and look like I want, then I'll be ready for a relationship. Or if I finally get this job, it doesn't have to be that way. Imperfect people get married and find each other all the time.
Every day.
I think my advice would be, and this is not just for women, but also men, mean what you say and say what you mean.
Yes.
Wow.
If I ask you, is everything okay? And you're, I know I pay attention very well. When that person is in the passenger seat and they're looking at that corner of the car that has no window and their body, their posture, everything is pointing right there, there is a problem. So that automatically has me asking, is everything okay? What's going on? Oh, nothing. No, seriously. Something seems like it's wrong. What's going on? Oh, nothing. Okay. Well, I'm about to turn the music up. We're about to kick it. And you're still going to be looking at that same area in the car that you can't see out around. So that's what, mean what you say, what you mean, and mean what you say, because I can only go off of your words. And I always question myself if I'm reading your personality or your behavior, if I'm reading it wrong. I'm second guessing myself. Like, maybe I'm reading that wrong. She's telling me it's nothing. But then she gets mad at you because you don't ask 17 times just to make sure that nothing is wrong. She's like, you only asked 16. If you'd have asked one more time, I would have told you what was wrong.
That's crazy.
So that's my advice.
Right.
Don't play games. Be honest about yourself. Put your big girl panties or drawers on and be honest about who you are and what you want. Shoot your shot. Be intentional. Be purposeful. Life is just too short. We've lost a lot of people, like I said, and shouts out to Brian Sleet and his family. A very good brother who passed away. Sleet is Chicago, and a lot of us are going to be in attendance, this week for the ceremony and the funeral and the wake and things. And so it's just, that's been on the hearts and minds of a lot of people here in Chicago. There have been people in our Spellhouse family who have passed recently. And so just keeping in mind that life is short.
It is.
And you owe it to yourself, if not the people who have gone on before us, to live your life. Be intentional. Stop playing games. Stop wasting time. If you want to stay where you are, Do what you need to do to make that the best that it can be, whether it's therapy, conversations, dialogue, communication.
Cocaine.
Get out in front of all that and make it the best that it can be.
Or not.
And if it's not, make your money moves, Cardi B, into doing what you need to do to be where you need to be. I wish you all love and happiness. Thank you so much for making 2018 an amazing year for Dana being Dana. And I am so excited about what 2019 has in store. We started off on a great note. We started off on an amazingly strong note. I want to thank our sponsors, GH Private Wealth Management, 800-591-6004, Veronica's House of Glamour, who hooks us up, right, Jamie?
Yes.
Yes, honey, 630-995, and Derek too, 630-995-2320, the Social MVP, thesocialmvp.com, and of course, as always, Scene Chicago, scene-chicago.com. Next week on Dana B and Dana, we are talking about fitness. We will be live on location in Naperville at 360 Fit. We're going back to Naperville because they love us and they show us so much love. And we will be having our fitness workout. We're going to keep it tight and keep it sexy. Hello. We're trying to get out here, get chose. So come out here and sweat with us. Tune in with us. We're going to have a great time. Fitness shows are always fun. So we are hoping that you join us. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We're all about to go take a shower with Reese.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you.
And not touch each other. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Once again, this is Dana being Dana. God bless you. Good night.
All right.